Hi guys, I hope you're well. It's Monday, July 30th, and I have a list of readings to do. And I just wanted to say I'm having this feeling, and I think I got it a little bit yesterday, that I should try to not do as many readings, okay? Because I'm sensing, or maybe it's just that I know the topics that I have listed here are, we're not looking forward to them essentially. Not that I really want to know about pedophilia, putting babies in cages, treason. It's my favorite. It's like it seems like there is nary a good spot. Okay, so I feel like it's the moment where, as you know, I have addiction. So I was gonna say I'm gonna take a little break, not break like that, but maybe try to do one reading a day or something like that, or maybe less. Okay, because the readings are intense, and I think it's also time to recharge. Maybe I should go back to the thing I have on my list, which is those meditation tapes, and I feel like I never quite stopped. That's what I should do. Maybe I'm going to do one reading and then take the time to do, that's going to take some time, you know, the meditation tapes. I've sort of started, but not really. So that's that. And guys, by the way, I'm kind of a little scared. On Wednesday I have a class, exercise class. It's a Vogue class. Ladies with an attitude, fellas that were in the mood. You know that? I'm going to take a class. I'm so excited. I love this documentary called Paris is Burning. Okay, about the balls, the queer balls in the 80s in New York. So for some reason I was reading this article, and I realized they have classes. You could take a class. Can you imagine? I'm very excited, but I'm so out of shape. I'm very, very much out of shape, and it's all arms. It's like this. Like, hello, this is Rosie. I'm Rosie. I see future. Because one of the things that you use a lot, actually I thought, in a way, for this whole thing with the expression of is the face and the arm. So that would be amazing. Can you imagine? So I'm excited. You know, I'm going to add something to performance. Oh yeah. So anyway, so I was like, oh my God, I'm like scared that I'm gonna be like so sore. And people, you know, girls are dancers, and I'm really not a dancer, and I'm not as young as I look. Some people seem to think I'm very young. I'm not young. I have magic. I have magic. So anyway, I know I am kind of like, oh my God. Anyway, so that's that guy. So okay, so that's that. So like I said, it's just because the topics are like, you know, kind of intense, and maybe it's because you know what I'm thinking also? I think it's also times like this, it's good to use cards. Maybe that's what I should do. But for now, let me just ask this question. You know, because I feel like I know my intention is always to get as much information, as specific information as possible, but maybe what I should do instead is to not worry about it like this. Not think that I should know everything, but just get started on the question. So guys, the question I have now, and by the way, I look just like a cartoon, a vector image of a one was see future turban cape. Oh yeah, she. So anyway, so I've listed several questions here, okay, about several people and situations. Some of you have questions, okay, and the question I have, which is kind of related to everything, is about the future of social media. Because as you know, I you know, one of my subjects here is trolls, right? Everybody deals with trolls, and also everybody deals with this whole thing that I'm doing. I didn't realize this, guys. I mean, you may not even know this, that we are, I never would have imagined that something like this would be targeted by trolls, because this is very interesting, actually. Maybe one day I'll be reading on this or just talk about it. Because there's this whole thing with conspiracy theories, and there's a reason why conspiracy theories are important to the far right and to the Russians and so forth, and to the right-wing media. It's because it challenges the whole war here. We have a war on truth. So have you noticed, for example, there's a lot of conspiracy theories on, like, say, the Kennedys. Obviously, there's a lot that we don't know, but it's interesting, for example, there are no conspiracy theories on, not that I'm aware of, on the death of Martin Luther King. Okay, because, right, it's those kinds of things, and nobody, they don't really want to look into, nobody, right, into really their role in this or something like this. But there's a lot of conspiracy theories on the Kennedys, and a lot of conspiracy theories are focused on values. Okay, so for example, one of the reasons that I think why they targeted Sandy Hook is because it's something that feels very important and very serious. So they challenge it. It's almost like there is a eschatological value in going against the norms in that way. Okay, because it challenges the deepest, the most important, right, the communal connections. And this is why. Okay, so there's a reason for, anyway, so for the same reason they do this, they think that someone like me would be doing this too, right? That in a way, if they want to push their propaganda, they can't. They want it to have no challengers. Okay, so this is interesting because this is like they want the conspiracy market to be, I call it conspiracy market, right? Because it's kind of like, I didn't realize this, but some of the things I talk about and a lot of other people who do readings as well, they want to control the flow of information. So this is interesting. Anyway, so just to let you know that this is part of the question. So the question, and I'm like kind of flipping through my book. I had already written out. Okay, there it is. What is the future of social media post-Trump in terms of troll farms, trolling, and hate speech? I feel like we're going to have laws that regulate this in some way. So, but I just want to know, what is the future of social media post-Trump in terms of troll farms, trolling, and hate speech? Is it going to increase or low? Whatever, just information. So interesting, because the first thing I noticed was that it showed that Trump as a wave, it was built by social media, right? The whole troll farms and all that. He was completely propped by the fake, both bots and trolls. And that once he falls, so do these troll farms, okay? And that, in a way, it becomes, I think, we're going to have, like I said, a lot of conversations and discussions about this. And I think it's going to be a bit of I see it like a drought in that world, like a drought of it becoming either of this Wild West or a drought of those things, okay? And then it becoming about values, because the way that for example, Facebook is built, it allows for anonymous people, right? Or people can create identities and just start posting bullshit. This is coordinated, right? So that's one thing. But the biggest, the gravest thing about Facebook, in my opinion, in general, and those social media things, is that they allow for ads to be sold, the political ads. That's what's really the most damaging. It's fake. It's not just fake news, but this whole thing where politics is paid. So will that, when laws have to pass, okay, and to not, because I think it's very basic. The laws, there have to be laws in terms of selling advertising that is political. Is that complicated? I don't think it has to be complicated. Okay, so that's one thing. And then the second thing is that the whole thing with hate speech, we're gonna have. I personally, as you know, I've posted this thing on Patreon actually. about how to recognize trolls in terms of hate speech and patterns and so forth. But it's interesting that it shows here that because it's weaponized, right? Speech has been weaponized through AI and troll farms and so forth. It actually will create a kind of reverse effect. There's going to have to be a much bigger discussion because, like I said, it's an issue of syntax, right? I said to people on Patreon, in the sense that it's how sentences are built that these sentences, the way that sentences are built, right? This little hateful speech, it has a lot to do with grammar, and in a way, we have to have discussions about this and how this has been enabled. We're not going to, these companies say, oh, I don't know anything, really. Oh, it's not. I think the conversation about the First Amendment is going to change. Okay, because in a way, you can argue that this is a form of it's weaponized. So this is interesting. Okay. So will this diminish? Yeah, I think there's going to be much more privacy is going to be more important. Okay, so people are going to realize how, and I think applications and so forth are going to be changed so that only the people that they know are going to be allowed to talk, to correspond with you and stuff like that. So actually, guys, it's showing that there's going to be a positive outcome, and that it's going to force us to talk about hate and how hate is a weapon, right? Even, and I think, like I said, people like me who are like, I think totally random, right? It's like, oh, whatever, this woman is not, I'm not ever saying that what I say is news or truth or whatever. So people like me will be like, anybody who goes against the topic or the way they want to talk, you get hate speech and all that. We don't really care. We're going to continue. But I think this is going to force the conversation, right? And this is going to be great because it will no longer, how they weaponize this idea of the First Amendment. It's going to create a different, and I think of it, I'm doing something, well, it doesn't matter what application building, but the nature of interactions are going to have to change, right? The way that people build applications and how much interaction they allow, it's going to have to change. Because like I said, I think there's going to be a delineation between what constitutes public and what constitutes private. Okay, because it's like, it was naive. Everything that happened in terms of Trump's election seemed to have happened as a result of our own naivete. We didn't know something like this could happen, but it's gonna change a lot of things for the better, right? Because we're gonna have to put measures in place. So what's gonna happen to these troll farms? Will they still exist? Yes, but there's gonna be fewer places to post, right? Because what happens is all these people post on news and all those kinds of things. There's going to be greater protection, okay? So that people are not going to be, they're going to be able to tell what it looked like, what things really are about, okay? The talking points and all that. So I think the business of troll farms is going to go down. That's what I think. So interesting, very interesting. Okay, I think it answers my question. Okay, I hope guys. Maybe this may sound a little abstract. Okay, but it's something I've often wondered about. So that's I do need to do a separate one about Facebook. But Facebook has, there's a lot of questions, sub questions that I need to write down about Facebook, because it's not just, oh, what happens to Facebook, but it's like how their role in the election, what's going to happen to them. I think I've done a reading on them a while back, but I think I need a refresher. Especially with the visions, they'll be really interesting to see. Okay? All right. Bye.